everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting a Genestealer Patriarch. This is from the Shadow Throne box, or the Brood Coven box, more specifically. And, well, without further ado, we're going to jump in and start painting him. Now, he has been primed in Grey Seer, and this is because we want him to be nice and cold and evil and alien looking. And, well, the place we're going to start is on his main colour, and that is all of his blue carapace. Now, the colour we're going to be using first for this is Ultramarines Blue. And what we want to do is we want to take that Ultramarines Blue on our brush, and we'll pick a place to start. I'm just going to start right here on the top, and we're just going to start painting it all over. Now, it might be a little bit bright for your taste, but don't worry, we are going to darken it down, so don't worry, because this is just our pre-shade colour that's going on here. And we've got all the kind of softer bits underneath, which we can try and avoid, but it doesn't matter too much if we do get some of this Ultramarines Blue on there, just because we can always tidy it back up with some Grey Seer. So you just want to go over like this and just use the box art to help you. See which parts are blue and which parts are not. And then once that's done, we'll come back. So with that Ultramarines Blue applied to all of our blue carapace details, what we're now going to do is we're going to make a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Contrast Medium and Leviadon Blue. And we're now going to paint this all over the top of all of our Ultramarines Blue. So we're just going to start up here in the same place that we did before. And what this is going to do, as I said, is it's going to really darken down that blue. But because it's been thinned down that little bit of Contrast Medium, it's not going to turn it completely black. It's also going to help with making sure that those highlights, the contrast innately leaves, just pop up a little bit more. And once again, we don't have to be 100% careful here, because we are just going to neaten up all of those softer bits. With Grey Seer. Just like this. So with that Leviadon Blue and Contrast Medium mix applied to our Patriarch, should have a carapace that looks somewhat like this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly move on. We're not going to do any highlights just yet. We're going to do those all at the end. So the colour we're going to be using next is Darkoath Flesh. I'm going to be using this on his brain. So you just want to go into that little dip right there. And then we just wanted to colour in the rest of the brain. Like so. Don't worry, this will all make sense in just a minute. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Magos Purple. I'm going to paint this over the brain, but we're also going to do a little bit of blending, because when you look at the box art, you can see a slight glow here in the middle of the brain, which is from his psychic powers. So we take this Magos Purple, and firstly what we're going to do on this side of the brain is we're just going to paint this all over just like this. Nice and simple. Add a little bit more in there, just to really get that purpley colour on there, like that. Excellent. Then, what we're going to do on the other side is we're going to take some Magos Purple, obviously, and we're just going to paint this Magos Purple around the kind of outside, going down in there, and then under here as well, and around there, like that, leaving a little circle in the middle. Then we wash the brush, and where those two colours meet, we're just going to, with a clean brush, smooth it out. So with that done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Gryph-Hound Orange. I'm going to paint this over this long outstretched claw. Like so. Just whilst we're waiting for those bits to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Basilicanum Grey and use this over the top of all of our remaining claws and spikes. And so with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 4 parts contrast medium to 1 part Shyish Purple mix. I'm going to paint this all over the top of all of our remaining flesh. So for example, just here on the face, we're going to add this Shyish Purple like this. But what we're also going to do, once we've got this on, is we're going to add this around that brain as well, to add a little bit more shade and shadow in there. And what we're going to do is once again once we've got it on this left side, is wash the brush, and then just with a clean brush, just smooth it out that little bit. Like that, so you should see it should fade up from the purple to the flesh. And on the other side of the brain, we're just going to go all the way over, like that. And so with that done, our Patriarch is beginning to look nearly there. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to take some black Templar. I'm going to paint this over the top of our Basilicanum Grey. So just want to get this on there. Just like this. However, what we're also going to do is we're going to put this over the top of our orange claw. Now, we're going to start at the base here. We're just going to do a nice big broad brush stroke towards the end, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, like that. Make sure the base is nice and covered. Then we're going to wash the brush, and then towards the tip, I'm just going to lift off some of that paint. So with that done, we're now going to add some highlights to all of these areas before we do the poor Space Marine helmet in his hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to firstly take some Fire Dragon Bright, not very much at all, just want a little bit here. Basically, we just want to highlight a couple of these neural pathways. Around that kind of point where his fingers are touching his brain, like that. And then next up we want to use a tiny amount of Lugganath Orange to add a little bit of a spot highlight. Just in there like that. And we're also going to use this Lugganath Orange to paint in his eyeballs. And to highlight the orange tip. And then with that done, what we're then going to do is going to take some Kislev Flesh. I'm going to add a couple of smaller highlights around where the areas start to move out. Towards the purple. Like that. So with that done, we'll come back to it a little bit later on, but what we're going to do now is we're going to focus on highlighting all of the blue. Now the colour we're going to be using is Alaitoc Blue, and well, this is going to take a little bit of time. What we're going to do here is going to use this Alaitoc Blue to just start picking out all of the edges. All the way around the model. So with that Alaitoc Blue applied to all of our blue carapace, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Hoeth Blue. I'm going to use this as our little spot highlight. So what we want to do is we want to just pick out the sharpest points on the model. And we're going to keep them towards the kind of top of his carapace as if the light is shining down. So what we want to do is we want to just kind of like, for example, just there, on the corners. These top ridges. A little bit around there. Like this. Also got various little kind of sort of like warts in a way. Couple of nicks and scrapes everywhere. Basically we just want to go around like this, and as I said, you just want to keep it towards the top. So with that now done, all of our blue is finished. So what we're going to do is going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. We're going to use this to highlight all of the black. Just like this. Now on the orangey claw, I'm obviously not going to do the whole thing. You just want to do the Dawnstone highlight over the black section, like that. And where we've already done the Lugganath Orange, we're just going to leave it like this. You just want to go around all these black details, picking out all of the edges, and then we'll come back. So with that Dawnstone applied, what we're then going to do is going to take some Administratum Grey. I'm going to add this to the absolute tips of all of our claws and spikes. Just like this, just to make them look extra sharp. And so with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Slaanesh Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our purpley skin. So what we want to do is we just want to start picking out all of the raised details. Just like this. So with that Slaanesh Grey applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Pallid Wych Flesh. I'm going to apply this as our little spot highlight to all of the skin. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Gryph-Hound Orange. I'm going to apply this over the top of the Lugganath Orange that we've put into the eyes. Just a little bit around the bottom eyelid. Just to give it that impression of having a little bit of glow. Just like that. So with that Gryph-Hound Orange applied, just whilst we wait for that to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take a tiny amount of Genestealer Purple. I'm going to add this as a tiny little spot highlight on our dark purple brain stems. It's very subtle, but that's what we want. And then next up, we want to take a really tiny amount of Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this as a little highlight on the eye. Like that. And also around that brainstem. So with that done, our Patriarch is pretty much finished. What we've got to do though, is we've got to do the base, and we've got to do the two Space Marine helmets just here and here. So we're going to do those Space Marine helmets first, and I'm going to paint mine as Blood Angels, but you of course could do yours as any Space Marine that you wish. And so the colour I'm using first is Blood Angels Red. Just going to very carefully get this on there, all over both of the helmets. And so with that done, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. I'm going to use this over all of our silver details, and this is mostly just the pipe that our Patriarch is squatting on. And with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Skeleton Horde. I'm going to use this to paint in all the skulls. And with that done, we then take some Gryph-Charger Grey. And we use this to paint in all the like cobwebs and stuff like that. So with that done, we're then going to take some Basilicanum Grey. I'm going to use this to paint in all of the rocks. So with that done, what we're then going to do is going to take some Balthasar Gold. I'm going to use this to just break up that silver a little bit by painting in the kind of main bit here around the vent, and we're going to paint in all of the little cult icons. There's one there, and there's one just there as well. And with that done, we're then going to take some Wyldwood. I'm going to apply this to all the soil. And this is because it's going to match the basing material that I'm going to put on it, which is going to be Sterling Battlemire. So whatever you're going to base your army in, make sure you do this the same colour. So with that done, we're then just going to very quickly take a little bit of Dark Angel's green. I'm going to apply this to the eye lenses of our Blood Angels helmets. Like so. I'm also going to apply it to this little cable hanging out here. So with that Dark Angel's green applied, what we then do is take a tiny amount of Gauss Blaster green. I'm just going to apply this as a little line going across the middle. Of our eye lenses. Like so. So with that done, it's now time to add some shades. And well, the colour we're going to be making is a roughly 2 parts contrast medium to 1 part black Templar. I'm going to be using this all over the top of all of our silver and all of our Balthasar Gold. I'm going to make this look nice and oily and dark, heavy and industrial. Whichever words you want to use to describe it. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to fill in all that negative space on the base using some Sterling Battlemire. But of course, if you're basing them in a different way, do that basing material instead. And so, with the base done, our Genestealer Cult's Patriarch is now finished. All it took was a little dry brush of Tyrant Skull over all of it, and it was done. As you know, I use Tyrant Skull pretty much all the time. You guys know this by now. I haven't painted any Genestealer Cults models in a long time, not since the beginning of this channel when we first painted Neophyte Hybrids, and we also did some Genestealers a long time ago, so it was very nice to return to the fold, or return to the cult, as it were. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you want to support me further like these legends and bosses on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/warhipster. Alternatively, you can now become a YouTube channel member by heading to the channel page and clicking on the join button just here, just like these absolute bosses have done. And if you just want to shoot me a little thanks, just because you really love this video, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.